Hey everybody, we're live. Hey, it's Everett with Ohio for Freedom, the program that is focused for the foreseeable future on talking about things in the church that shouldn't be in the church. I see that we've got a number of people that are joining us, and it's really, really appreciated. It's 2 Saturdays before Christmas, y'all, so I want to get on here and get off. Been a very busy week. My wife has been very, very understanding, and I appreciate that, but we're going to try to balance out the scales. I'm going to begin by showing the thumbnail for this episode. And I want to point out something that should be obvious, but it is obvious to most people, but there will be a person or two that will miss something on here. And the title of this thumbnail is Joni Lamb calls for third-party investigation, ? It is a question mark. And I will point out that a question mark is used when someone is asking a question. So no, I am not reporting that Joni Lamb has called for a third-party investigation, but I'm asking the question to the audience, and whether you're seeing this live or on the replay, I'm going to ask a favor right now. This is not a command. I get a little irked at those guys. In fact, I need you to type into the comments now, or they like command people to react. I don't like that. I don't want to get sidetrailed on that. But if you believe that Joni Lamb should call for a third-party investigation, please type yes into the comments. If you think that a third-party investigation is not appropriate or shouldn't happen, you could type that into the comments. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got a little bit of media that I'm going to go through, and I have made a strict promise. I've got a 20-minute limit. This might seem like a shameless plug. It's not, but it might seem that way. I am not going to be able to adhere to my stated desire of releasing part 1 of the Solomon series on Sunday, because, see, folks, something is happening right now, and that is, if you look on the internet, you might think that there's a Daystar video industry. That's not what's happening. But yes, lots and lots of people have posted videos about Daystar. They're weighing in, they're giving their opinion. I haven't, there's tons of them. You can't go through all of them. And, for the people that some people that do not understand what's going on, they can say, oh, they're just jumping in. They want clicks and they want likes and whatever. I will tell you what I want is I want all this to go away. Okay. But what's happening is that the people, please hear me, the people are working together. The people are demanding truth. The people, the collective people of God and the people of America and the people around the world are saying something's not right, and we want to know the truth. And it's very, very interesting, because I'm actually going to borrow a fair amount of fair usage info from Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. I'm not fangirling Laura. I'm not fanboying JT. It's just that I had made a point, and about 5 o'clock this morning, I was going through her last episode, and I grabbed a couple of clips, and then about early this morning, I knew I wanted to do this episode. And so prep time, I'm stealing some of Laura's stuff. That's okay. But that's not exactly how the point is made. The point of this is, why aren't we demanding this? Why aren't we demanding this? So let me get back on my train of thought. Now I think I get there. I watched this happen during COVID. I watched this happen in the year 2020. We were being sold a narrative on so many different fronts. And I think we were so traumatized as a collective, people, that it's even hard to look back on once things get back to normal. But folks, if we hadn't fought back, I don't even want to think about where we would be. And how did we fight back? We fought back with information. We fought back with truth. But where did it come from? It didn't come from mainstream media. That is for sure. It didn't come from the powers that shouldn't be. That is for sure. We found it with alternative media and people posting. And someone would learn something and they'd post it, and someone else would grab that, and it would lead them into a lot of research. And then they'd share it with somebody. And pardon me, I still have contacts from all over the world as a result of that. And as a result of that process, it might seem like it was technology, Telegram saved us. Facebook, when they weren't censoring, saved us. YouTube saved us. YouTube was really, really bad. Rumble was such a blessing when it came along, and it still is. But there was a technological aspect. But folks, what really, really, I'll say, saved us from destruction was the people connecting, sharing the truth, sharing the stuff that often, sometimes you felt like you developed bonds with people far away that you couldn't. If you talked about those same things with members of your own family, they would think you were crazy. They were still kind of locked in the mindset of just trying to cope and trying to get along. So I've spent maybe more time on that than I wanted to. But what is happening is this. So the reason you're seeing so many videos, Daystar, and, some people will wake up maybe a month or two after this is over and say, where'd everybody go? I mean, that will happen here. I'm sure we've picked up a lot of subscribers, and when things move on, you can say, where'd they go? That's fine. That's fine. But what we are doing, folks, this is a momentum effort right now. The truth is getting out, and mainstream wants to squash it. Daystar has not uttered a peep about this controversy. They're pretending that it doesn't exist, but the allegation of a victim of a little girl does exist. And then that opens the can of worms to a whole lot of other stuff that simply needs to be looked at. And rather than allow something to be squashed, the people are responding. So you are part of the answer. I'm a small part of the answer, but us working together, we are the answer. So I want to play. I'm going to play. I think it's a minute 30. I will not be posting the Solomon series part 1. Sunday, it's coming shortly, but today's events kind of took precedence. But I want to play a clip from a presentation I did called The Secrets of Solomon from October 20th of this year. I just want to play it right now, and that's what I'm going to do. That has had a lot of exposure. What have you seen over and over? You've seen a lot of success that would scream at Christendom, we're holy, we're righteous, everything's good. And then you find out a little something that, no, it's not right, and it's not pure, and it's not holy. And it's been there for a lot of time. But what is something else that you find, that you usually see in that situation? A lot of commerce. Plain and simple, a lot of commerce. You see a lot of stuff bought and sold. You see a lot of money exchanging hands. And that's what you saw in the days of Solomon. He maybe wasn't breaking the commandment of God when he married Pharaoh's daughter. Maybe it was permissible, but not expedient, as Paul would say. But maybe that was okay. But then he goes a step further, and he buys some horses, not just some horses, a lot of horses. And then he starts getting involved in trafficking these horses. And you say, well, what does that do? Well, all I know is this. If Solomon had been alive in our day, he'd have woke up one day with his picture on the front page of a lot of newspapers, and there'd have been podcasts, and there'd have been social media, and he would have woken up one day, and guess what? You're no longer held in the esteem and the regard that you were. You have, in fact, become a byword. I did not know on the 20th of October that this would be happening. I had no idea. I put a comment on there, somebody mentioning Pastor Ray. I've followed Pastor Ray for a while now. Pastor Ray is not a professional full-time Daystar commentator, but what he is doing right now, if he's really focused on that, is, folks, we are not letting this story get away, and we are not going to lose the narrative war. And yes, it is a narrative war, and the truth is going to come out. And guess what? When this is over and done, we'll find the next subject, because God is cleaning up his church. I found this gentleman on Laura Lynn's show from last night. I'm going to play this, and I want to keep this moving because I'm keeping promise to myself. Time ice.
Yeah. The reason you would stop an investigation is because you have something to hide. It makes absolute sense, and why people are, this should be standard practice. And in fact, the church, I would say, has not done a very good job, maybe being unprepared. I don't understand why we're not prepared. We've had scandal after scandal after scandal, including when I was a young girl, and one of our, counselors, brother of the pastor of our church, would always have all the young guys in to have counseling. Apparently, total perv, molested.
Oh,
How interesting that Laura Lynn has an experience, with a church like that, and she makes the comment that this we've seen a lot of this and a lot of this and a lot of this, and we haven't got better, folks. I think it's time that we get better. And I'm going to play one more clip from her program because it describes something. Let me just play this because I do want to keep this moving along. But I thought when she says this, I understand exactly what she's saying. Here we go.
If I had any knowledge of anything and I was in a position where I needed to speak, and somewhat I've done my part right now. I'm doing my part right now. This is not my idea of what I was going to be doing in December. I was hoping to just be doing Christmas shopping and have my show on Daystar and, be doing what I've always done, bringing great Christian, information out. I thought my life would be totally different, but it's taken a bit of a turn because God has called me to the front line because there is a war. There is a war on spiritual abuse and lies, deception in high places. And you see it. Rebecca, you're a woman of God. Call me anytime. We'll stand with you. We'll walk with you. And not only that, as Mordecai would say, don't think that you will survive as the evil agenda has been exposed and there is damage that is going to be done in the name of the Lord to the evil. Don't think that you will not also be exposed and that you will lose your position. Everything that we ever compromise to keep, we eventually lose. Don't think that you're going to survive when the light of truth is shining.
I'd forgotten about the end of that clip because at the end of that clip, she's actually making an appeal to Jonathan Wise's sister Rebecca to speak up. And then I'm going to play just maybe one or two other clips. But this is really what I wanted to accomplish tonight with as many people as I could. So I'm going to ask that question one more time. Should Joni Lamb, should Daystar call for a third-party investigation? There are allegations of child SA. There are some other allegations, but we've virtually got proof. I mean, it's not illegal, but let me just say there. If you believe there should be a third-party investigation, type yes into the comments. And then I wanted to show you this. Early on, this is Joel Richardson, very early on. I think the date on this was like November 25th. And Joel Richardson said, I'd like to speak to those who love Daystar and may feel as Jonathan and Suzy Lamb are in the wrong here. And this is so simple, folks. If Joni desires the best for her family and Daystar, then there is a very simple way to resolve this whole mess. That is a mutually agreed upon third-party investigation. Anything less than this betrays a most shameful cover-up, pardon me, on the part of Joni and the organization. It really is that simple. And guess what, folks? It really is that simple. So I'm going to play one more clip, and then I'm really going to try to close quick, like I said, but I'm going to make a recommendation to the Daystar organization. And I think this would solve it. I actually think this pretty simple. I agree with Joel Richardson. And so here's three things that I think would be really good and really smart right now. after you quit pretending that there isn't an issue, and after you quit pretending that the world doesn't know, and after you quit pretending that it's not going to become more well known, because it is going to become more well known. And here's what they are. I guess I'll have them in the order that I wrote down. Joni Lamb, number one, should call for a third-party investigation by a mutually agreed upon entity, whoever does that. Includes law enforcement, all kind of things. Mutually agreed upon. Not somebody that they make a little side room secret deal with. Investigate it. Investigate it. Period. Thoroughly. Third party, you're out of it. And to make sure that you're out of it, here's number two. Joni Lamb should recuse herself from the CEO position at Daystar and the functionality of it. In other words, recuse yourself. Do not come on the property. Do not communicate. You're like, hey, you know what it is? You're on sabbatical. That place will run. You've done such a wonderful job for the last couple of years. You've let us know that many, many times. It'll keep running. All the people that have programs, they don't want to lose the revenue. They'll keep providing the programs. You've got staff. You can always call Tom Callender. He can come up and he can put more NDAs on employees. He can put more tracking devices on everybody that needs tracked and everybody that needs their phone calls monitored, or however you want to do it. But Joni Lamb needs to step aside for at least 60 days, maybe 90 days. But I mean, step aside, no communication. The street lingo would be butt out, and butt out completely, so as not to hinder a third-party investigation. And why wouldn't you want a third-party investigation? If you didn't cover nothing up, you want the world to know that you didn't cover up. And if the world ain't just taking your word for it, third-party investigation. Take care of that. Joel Richardson was right, almost a month ago now? He was right then. It's pretty simple. Third-party investigation. And then here's number three. While this is going on, Daystar should order a complete audit of at least the last decade. And let's do this up in a big way. Here's a chance for real reform in the way we do things here in the United States of America. So let's order a financial audit and statements and make the Form 990 look like child's play, look like elementary school. Let's really set a precedent. Let's really, like, Joni, here's a chance to be the queen of transparency, the queen of accountability. So show us, to the penny, the amount spent on these private jets and the amount spent on these trips and where they go. Show us where that's all used with these tax-free money. Show us where the real estate investments are. Show us where the cryptocurrency investments are. Show us where maybe you underwrite, maybe like a NASCAR driver or something like. But set a precedent for transparency. Make the Form 990 look like, are you kidding me? That's just a thumbnail sketch. Be an inspiration. Be an inspiration to the body of Christ and to Christian ministry. And maybe they'll find some waste. Maybe they'll find some ways where you can tighten some things up. But those are my three things. Call for a third-party investigation that's mutually agreed upon. And step aside, recuse yourself for at least 60 days completely. And number three, order an industry precedenting financial accountability. And then I wanted to play this fella. I believe his name is Shane Winnings, but he was on Laura's program. I believe he posted a lot of this information on his own, but I just want you to hear this. I'm going to play it right now.
Quick, I know I'm going on for a long time, but
no, go ahead.
Suzy, I'm sorry, Joni is not off the hook. So anyone who played a role that can be proven in delaying, hindering, deterring, or killing an investigation, they can be on the hook as well. So if, hypothetically, if this little girl comes out and says it was him, he did it, then they go back into the police report and they begin to do a criminal investigation. And it was found that they were, Joni or whoever else was covering up for this guy. Well, now you're looking at criminal charges for something that you should have reported, but you tried to hide. And we see this in ministries, actually. I believe we saw something like this similar with Hillsong.
Okay, so this gentleman is Shane Winnings, I believe, and he is head of Promise Keepers, and he's former law enforcement. And I just thought that was so powerful. But coming from a law enforcement background, he is reminding us that if there was a cover-up, then that would be criminal. So, Joni, that would be all the more reason to call for a third-party investigation, because you want people to know that you did not cover anything up, right? And I would say, can we just quit that? I don't know why they would think this, but a lot of people believe that Joshua Brown is the person that is referred to as Pete. And so I don't know if Joshua Brown is Pete or if Pete is Joshua. I don't know. But if so many people are out there thinking that Joshua Brown is probably Pete, Joshua, it'd be a really smart idea for you to call for a third-party investigation. And if there are any other staffers, any other preachers that are close to this organization, any other ministries that interact with them, this would be a really good time to call for a third-party investigation. And in the process, recommend that Joni recuse herself, get out of the way so that everything can conclude. And then when she's found to be completely exonerated and in the right, she can move forward with, with nothing hanging over her head. And in the process, it'd be a really good idea to just revamp the transparency model in the Christian, I was going to say entertainment world. That would sound insulting. So I will say the Christian media mafia industry, and set a precedent for transparency. So, folks, it's 22:34. That's what I wanted to say. I'm going to ask one more time. If you believe, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think that these three recommendations, call for a third-party investigation. We got a lot of comments. I'm trying to scroll to the bottom and I can't. If you believe that these three recommendations are good ones, third-party investigation, recuse yourself, get out of the way for at least a couple months, officially, functionally. And number three, industry precedent-breaking, records, whatever, financial accountability. Let us know what you think in the comments. And that is what I felt like I needed to accomplish today. Folks, you will not see us tomorrow. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And please support everyone out there that is telling the truth. We have a lot of new folks. It's appreciated. I understand the dynamics of what's happening that has brought us together. And you, at least about 1,500 people of you, had better things to do on a Saturday than join me. So until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio. And Lord, God bless the church and the church that is in the United States of America. Good night, y'all, and thank you. I hear the sweet sound